Hey there, this is David Lyon here, founder of Evolving Men and Embodied Creators. And in this video, I want to talk about how to change the course, the direction in your life. And basically, this is my theory of change, how I learned with myself and then with the many clients that I've worked with so far on what it takes to actually change the direction of your life and align it with your most cherished values, with what is most important to you, rather than just continuing to act out certain patterns that you developed maybe early on or that you even just inherited from other people. And so the three basic pieces that we're going to look at is first, knowing what you want. Second, looking at what are the patterns, the behavioral patterns, and then also the connected emotional wounds that are going into a different direction, that are actually not supporting you in going towards what you truly want. And third, taking different action, doing something different, okay? So let's start with the first one, knowing what you want. Okay, so that is something that maybe for some of you is easy and for others not. Basically, for me, knowing what you want is about learning to inhabit your body and trusting your intuition, starting to listen more to maybe sometimes the very subtle cues that are giving you a yes to meeting that one person and a no to meeting that other person. Learning to take more seriously what really energizes you, what gets you really excited, and what is actually draining and an energy killer, even though maybe mentally it's the right thing to do. So to give you an example from my life, I was studying psychology. I was almost done with my bachelor's degree, but basically since the first year, since the second semester, I suffered. I hated it. Of course, there were some moments that were enjoyable, but for the most part, it felt like it was killing my creativity, was killing my excitement. And so after 3 years, I finally had the guts to quit. And in retrospect, I would say it was the best decision of my life, because I was really acting from a place of listening to what felt true and aligned to me, rather than what's the most rationally smart decision that you could take, given all the different whatever you can think about, like what the best job chances are and so on and so forth. I have never regretted taking this decision. So knowing what you want starts with body awareness, starts with listening to the subtle cues that are within you, that are actually very clearly calling you and moving you in a direction. The thing is, we just ignore that, we don't listen to it, and so then it's hard. So once you develop a sense of what it is that you want, both on a kind of larger perspective of like what vision really excites you, where do you live, who are you surrounded by, what are the things that you're doing on a daily basis, to have kind of a larger direction in life of like, man, what do I feel called, into which direction do I want to move? So both that and that on a daily basis, learning to track how certain things make you feel. Now, I created another video on tracking. I'll put it in the comments or something so you can check that out. It's a powerful video. So once you have a certain sense of that, the next step is then to look at your current behaviors, your current daily lives, and the things that you're doing that are absolutely not moving you into this direction that you actually desire. And so on one level, that's looking at simply the behaviors, the things that you're doing. Maybe whenever someone gets really close to you, you cut them off and you create emotional distance and you don't communicate openly what's going on. Or maybe whenever you have a chance to share some of your gifts, you hide because you're afraid of being rejected. So that's more like looking at the behavior. And then beneath that is, what are the emotional wounds and maybe early experiences that you had that are leading you to behave in a way that is not helping you to move towards your vision? And so this is the emotional work. This is the processing. This is the being with your pain, learning to sit with it and learning to be informed by it, learning how you can take better care of these really vulnerable parts inside of yourself while moving into your desired direction, because it is scary. It is vulnerable because you stop doing things just so that others like you. Because I don't think anyone would say, oh, it is my calling to only do things that other people would approve of. No, your calling is probably to do your thing and to do what excites you, and not everyone will like that. And so all the parts in you that learned to protect yourself from being hurt, from being abandoned, from being rejected, all this is going to come up in the process. And so the practice is to learn to sit with these parts, to learn to process the emotions to a degree where they are no longer holding you hostage. Because our behavioral patterns, the ones that we don't like, the binging on Facebook and eating stuff we don't want to eat, and being bitchy with people around us, whatever it is that you're doing that you don't like, there is some emotional wound connected to that is making you behave that way, that is making you be so reactive. Like whenever you get close to this emotion, you just have to act out because it's too uncomfortable. So to learn to slow down, be with that discomfort, and over time, this will transform. Over time, you will integrate these experiences and they will no longer be in charge of your life. Now, once you've done that, and this is very important because I see a lot of people not taking that final step. The final step is actually changing your actions, is actually doing things differently. And that takes a kind of yang, in terms of yin and yang, quality of courage and discipline and perseverance, because just because you process your emotions, that doesn't mean that suddenly it's super easy and everything just flows. Like, that's a myth that exists, especially in New Age communities, that you only need to sit with yourself for long enough and love yourself and then everything else will fall into place. No, it's a very big important part, and we need that young capacity to be like, this is my vision, this is where I'm going. Even if resistance comes up, I'm going to stay on track. I'm staying committed to what is most important to me. And I'm not going to let my fear and my insecurities and the judgments of others and all the reasons that come up from whoever or myself that I shouldn't be doing this and that this is wrong, I'm not going to let them get in the way of what it is that I truly want to be doing. That also means having the discipline to establish new habits, to do on a daily basis the things that truly nourish you, and sometimes they are uncomfortable. Sometimes it's very challenging to adapt them, okay? So without this third step of actually changing your actions, of actually starting to do things differently, you're not going to change the course of your life. You might be more at peace with yourself and love yourself more, but you're not going to have that part of, whoa, I'm doing things that a year ago I thought I would never be able to do. And so that for me is really a sign of transformation. When you start doing things where you're like, holy shit, a year ago I would never have had the balls to do that. That for me is a sign of, oh, okay, cool, things are going forward. And that can be being really vulnerable. That can be the scariest thing. Or it can be standing on a stage or speaking to a camera, whatever it is. But doing things differently is the final step to actually bring change in your life. All right? Now, I just launched a new coaching program this week. It's called Embodied Creator. It's a 4-month program. It's an individual coaching program that supports you to take the steering wheel of your life and to look very clearly, where do I want to go? What are the things that are getting in the way? What actions do I need to take to get there? All right. So if you resonate with this, put a comment below, say yes, or I'm interested, and I'll send you full details. And I would be very honored to support you move into the direction of your life that feels most aligned to you. Now, as always, you're seen, you're loved, you're appreciated. Keep evolving. I'll talk to you very soon. Peace.